This is going to be a position to work on a deadlift. Really nice regression to make sure that you're getting the right mechanics. Now I've got this fancy band here with a nice cushion around my waist. Any band around your waist works. You can even put a towel if you feel like the band is at all uncomfortable. I would have it attached to, if I was at the gym, maybe a piece of machinery, squat rack, anything like that around. And I want to try and keep it around the height of my waist. So I'm going to step away so I feel a fair amount of tension in this band, right? And it's going to be really pulling me backwards, so I'm going to have to angle my trunk forward a little bit. Feet about shoulder width. And starting off here, I want my hands and my hips to move in opposing directions. So hands are out in front of me. I'm going to let the band win. I'm going to let it pull my hips back so I sit onto my heels. And I'm going to counterbalance that by reaching my hands forward. I get to where I feel like there's a little bit of tension on my hamstrings. Keeping my hands up helps it so my back isn't rounding like this. And then from here, I'm going to drive through my heels and pull my hips forward as I bring my arms down into this straight position again. So once again, slowly lowering back. I have just a very slight bend in my knees, so my knees aren't locked out, just a slight bend. And I'm thinking more about my butt going back as my hands go forward, the two areas kind of moving away from each other, and then I'm going to drive through my heels and pull my butt underneath me. Now if you watch my lower back, a big key here is that I'm trying to fight the urge for my lower back to do this, which a lot of times can be an issue with our deadlift, right? As we're coming up, we get a little bit more of that extension, compression, loading of our back. So having my arms up, and as I drive through, I'm really trying to focus on my back staying neutral and just thinking about doing this through my hips, right? My butt goes back as my head comes forward. All of the motion is coming from my hip joint. So I want to eventually progress this into a deadlift. So I might go from arms up to arms, maybe even here, so I can check the position of my back and make sure it's not moving. It's the same exercise without the arms. And then ultimately I may be lifting a weight here, so I'll have my arms down. And once again, I'll see, can I maintain the same control in my lower back? I think about keeping my shoulder blades maybe retracted a little bit. And then I can even go into holding the weight in this position. So if I held a kettlebell or a dumbbell, maybe the same idea. Can I go through my deadlift with this band as a little bit of a guide for the right movement through my hips? So the band is a great tool to mix in with the weight and maybe initially without it to get the right movement pattern.